Great morning, great morning, great morning. You guys come on in. Come on in, come on in. Great morning. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, excuse me. Hey, gorgeous. How are you, Jackie? Thank you, North Carolina in the building, and thank you so much for sharing. You guys come on in. Come on in. Texas in the building. Come on, Texas. Great morning, April. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. Y'all come on, come on, come on, come on in. Y'all, this word is a challenging word. That's what I'm going to say. It's a challenging word. Y'all come on in. Come on in. Hey, beautiful. Good to see you. Now, who is that? Is that my sister? Oh, my goodness. Y'all, listen. I'm struggling this morning. Let me not say that. So let me change my language and my words. Let me figure out what I'm going to say instead. I'm trying to get my hair to act right. That's what I'm going to say. To act like I want it to act. To do what I want it to do. Great morning, you guys. Come on in. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. So many amazing things happening. And I can't wait to share some things with you guys. You know, one of the things that I've learned is that God finds a way of doing what it is that he wants done in your life. And that's key. Because when God does a thing, he knows exactly how to do it. And I'm watching him do so. So you guys come on in. Make sure you share. Make sure you share. I'm going to do the same. I'm clearing up, which is good. Grand risings. Well, y'all know how we do. Before we get started, get your alive. Let's go ahead and take our shot together. Let's take our shot. Shake it up. Shake it up. Ooh, ooh, shake it up. Shake it up, pour it up, drink it up, honey. Listen, we alive over here. Here's to being alive. Here's to God's yes absolutely being enough. Cheers. My God. Baby, I poured you up. So listen. I need y'all to take a journey from me. Journey with me. Take a journey with me, right? In your life, you will have defining moments. These are moments that impact you differently. Here you go, babe. That's a lot. Let me drink some. I felt like you deserved it. There's a lot of swallows, ain't it? Thank you, baby.
My eyelids are alive.
He's talking about his eyelids are alive. Listen. So there are moments in your life that are defining moments. You have all these moments in your life that are defining moments. What happens in that moment, what transpires in that moment, how you respond in that moment, affects your life, right? It affects the course of your life. It may take you in one direction or the other. Great morning, woman of God. Hey, gorgeous, how are you? So when you look at where you are right now, it is the result of a series of defining moments and choices. Where you are right now in your life, whatever that looks like, is the result of a series of defining moments and your choices. Because many times it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens to you. Two people can experience the exact same thing and respond differently to it. One goes one way, one goes another way. I remember a friend of mine had a twin, and both he and the twin were molested. The twin ended up being gay, and he ended up going the other direction. So both of them experienced the same thing. One responded one way to it, the other responded another way to it. In our life, when you understand that these series of defining moments, God already knew your response. God knew your response before you responded and still made a way to get you back to destiny, regardless of what your response was. So while sometimes what we'll do is we'll take those, angel number 111, we'll take those series of defining moments and we'll say, well, this is why but you could have gone another way. And God has made a plan to get you back to destiny no matter what you've gone through. I don't care how bad it was, whether it was you doing it or someone else doing it. God has created a way back to destiny. And destiny is always in alignment with God's will for your life, God's plan for your life. And it may not look the way other people think it should look. That ain't your business. You let them deal with that. You do what God tells you to do. I know without a doubt that God has ordained me to do certain things. There's just certain things that are just innately in me, certain things that I'm just innately drawn to, certain things that like it resonates with my spirit and with my being. And so I know there's something God is showing me that is unique to me, that it's my contribution to all of this, right? This thing called life. Right? We all have a role to play in it. There's something that we are to do that nobody can do just like us, although somebody else will do it if we don't. Let me say that again. There's something that we are ordained to do because nobody can do it like us but us. Although if we don't do it, somebody else will do it, but it won't be the way you would do it. Now let me tell you this too. Not only will somebody else do it, it'll be somebody less talented, less qualified, less anointed that does it to just show you that God can use anybody. Then you sitting there looking stupid. Like, God told me to do that and I didn't do it. Well, and the end result is you looking at somebody else doing it, saying to yourself, well, I would have done this and I would have done. Yeah, you would have had you done it, but you didn't do it. So now God got to let you see what it looks like when you opt out of your assignment and somebody else does it. So that you can wake up and do what he's called. Then your next response is, well, I'm not going to do it now because it's going to look like I'm copying off of them. Listen, there is enough room in the world for more than one person to do anything. There are so many people in the world that are waiting for you to show up. You. So what? There's some people that may be drawn to that person, but there's some people that are going to be drawn to you. They're waiting for you. People are waiting to you for you. And you got to know that God's yes on you and your assignment is enough. Period. You don't need nobody else to sign off on it. You don't need nobody else's agreement. You don't need nobody else to give you a piece of paper to say, okay, you can now do this. You don't have to have that to do what God has called you to do. It's an amazing thing as a faculty member because many of the things my students want to do don't necessarily require a degree. So I'm the one that will say, you know, you don't have to wait till you get your degree to start doing what you want to do, right? You know, you don't have to wait for that. You know, you can start now. Now, the truth of the matter is this. There are we like paper. Paper validates us. Angel number 111. Paper validates us. Getting a piece of paper validates us. And it doesn't matter whether that piece of paper is a marriage license, a diploma, a certification. Paper validates us because we started learning early that if you don't have paper, then it's not legitimate, right? They start in kindergarten when you get your kindergarten diploma, right? That says that you graduated kindergarten. Well, what exactly does that mean? Does it mean that everyone who graduates kindergarten knows their ABCs and their numbers and their colors and their shapes? Because I'm convinced there's some people who graduated from kindergarten that didn't know all of that stuff. So what does the paper mean? The paper simply means that you completed a year of this process. You completed a year. Who fails kindergarten? Then you go into the first grade. And we continue on and we set these false milestones, angel number 122, right? So our first graduation is kindergarten. Then we graduate from elementary to go to middle school. Then we graduate from middle school to go to high school. Then we graduate from high school to go to college. Then we graduate with our bachelor's to go to graduate school. Then we get our master's and we graduate there to go on to get a PhD or an EDD or what other kind of D you gonna get. Listen, all of it is about this progression, having a progression, right? Making a progression. And when I say this, it's going to sound so counter to something that I tell you a little later, but it's all connected. And I want you to understand that because I want you to understand why you do what you do, right? I want you to shift your motivation, right? Hey, beautiful. How you doing, woman of God? I want you to shift your motivation. I don't want you, listen, I don't want you just doing stuff to have a piece of paper to feel validated. I want you to know you're valid now. You're already valid. See, I'm shifting this whole paradigm, right? This whole educational paradigm, I'm shifting it. And I'm shifting it in order to help you get right motivation in what you do. If you don't feel like you're enough until you have a certain piece of paper, then you're always going to be operating from a place where you're looking for your next piece of paper. And I don't want that. I want you to seek knowledge. I want you to seek experience. I want you to seek understanding. That's what I want your motivation to be. I want you to want to know more so that you can do more and do it better. Not just for a piece of paper, not to have someone validate who you are. God has validated you. He's already said that you are enough. You right now, where you are, is enough for him to do what it is that he has ordained you to do. You are enough. You have within you everything that you need to do what God has called you to do. And anything you need outside of you, God will arrange for it to come to you. I'm looking for some people who know that they're enough. I need you to type in the comments, I am enough. I am enough. I am. I am enough. I don't need to add anything to me. I don't need to change anything about me. I am enough just like I am. I am enough. Yes, Evelyn. Yes, Petula. I am enough. People have told us for so long that we weren't enough that we accepted their lie as our truth. You heard what I said. We accepted their lie as our truth. It's a lie that you're not enough. It's a lie that you're not good enough. It's a lie that you're not pretty enough. It's a lie that you're not strong enough. It's a lie that you're not handsome enough. It's a lie that you're not educated enough. It's a lie that you don't have the right pedigree. It's a lie. It is all a lie. Anything that takes you away from being enough is a lie. It is a lie from the pits of hell, and anyone who speaks it over you is being used as a tool of the enemy for your destruction, for your delay. And anybody can be used by the enemy. Parents can be used by the enemy. Grandparents can be used by the enemy. Aunts and uncles can be used by the enemy. Husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, your children can be used by the enemy. Listen, anybody can be used by the enemy. Listen to me, and I need y'all to get this in your spirit. And the earlier those words are spoken over you, the more likely you are to believe them, the more likely they are to be ingrained in you, the more likely they are to show up in those moments when God is calling you to make a step that feels uncomfortable. Those voices will come up. Those voices will come up. Listen. And says, I'm angry. I'm angry because we believe the lie that the enemy has told us. We've been sold a bill of goods. The world has told us that we are not enough. We're not enough because we're Black. We're not enough because we're women. Oh, don't be Black and a woman. You're not enough. You're not enough because you're gay. You're not enough because you're straight. You're not enough because you're single. You're not enough because you're married. You're not enough because you work here. You're not enough because you work there. You're not enough because you don't work. You're not enough because you didn't go to this school or that school. You're not enough because you didn't go to school at all. All of these reasons why we're not enough. You're too fat to be enough. You're too skinny to be enough. You're disproportionate, so you're not enough. You think God didn't know when he made disproportionate people that they were going to be disproportionate? He knew. The world needs us in all shapes, sizes, colors, all of that. Listen, you're not enough because you're not this denomination or that denomination, or you're not enough because you're not a Christian. You're not enough. God made all of us enough. Now listen, we as people put all of these artificial things on people to say, oh, you're not enough because, listen, you're still enough. If we don't believe the same thing, we're still enough. You're still enough and I'm still enough. We just have different beliefs. It's not my job to force you to believe something. It's my job to be what I believe. We out here trying to convert the world and we don't even believe what we say we believe. Y'all say, well, Dr. V, how can you say that? I don't believe what I believe. If you are living a substandard life, if you are living a life that is less than what God intended, you don't believe it. You don't believe his word. I'm not saying that makes you not enough. You're still enough. Even if you haven't walked in the totality of believing with every fiber of your being the word of God and applying it to your life, you are still enough. How about that there? My life don't look like God has ordained it to look, but I'm still enough. Yes. Hey, man of God, how you doing? I just came to tell somebody today that God's yes is enough. God's yes, it's enough. So now listen, I've been doing the prophetic drive-by for about 7 years now. It's been about 7 years, 7, the number of completion, right? Angel number 133. I've been doing it for about 7 years now. God has been telling me for 9 years now to do a school of the prophets. And I remember when he first told me, angel number 133, I had somebody else do it. But that's not what he said. And then I just put it off. I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. Let me tell you why I put it off. See, let's get to the root. Because there's always a root to why we don't do something. Now, we can try to say, well, it wasn't the right time. It wasn't this. I didn't have that. Let's get to the root. At the root of it. At the root of it. When I was asked again for the umpteenth time when I was going to do it, because I said I was going to launch it in September, and I didn't. April said, Dr. V, let's talk about this prophetic school. When are you going to do that? I said, girl, I know. The truth of the matter is, there was a part of me still not believing that I was enough to do that. Why? Because I didn't go to school for that. I didn't have a paper for that. Like, now clearly I know I'm a prophet, right? I know I'm a prophet. That's undeniable. I do it. I live it. God has taught me. He's given me wisdom, and he's shown me things that other people teach. And I was like, I don't know about that. For me, I don't know about that. Feeling like, well, there's already people who do that. There's already people I'm connected to that do that. And so last night, after that conversation, I was like, I know I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And this was the response I got, April. Listen, even if all you do is individual, can we do that? Because I need this. I need what you have. I need the knowledge that you have. I need that. If don't nobody else get it, I want to make sure I get it. Okay, so can you do that for me? Now, she's been trying to get me to do that individually for her for a long time now. Like, it's been months. And I've been like, okay, well, just wait. I'm going to do it. Just wait. I'm going to do it. Just wait. I'm going to do it. Whole time feeling like, am I enough? Am I enough? Even though I get on here every day and prophesy. Now, I know some people will think that when I'm on here, I'm just talking. No, I'm telling you what God is saying to me to say to the people. And then I'll do individual prophetic words, stuff I don't know what's going on, but God knows it's going on, and he will use me to speak to it, right? And every now and then I'll get a phone call and say, somebody will say, you just don't know how on point what you said was. Literally today, this morning, this is what happened. And I'd be like, oh, wow. Well, praise God, because God knew, right? Still yet not feeling like I'm enough. Well, you know, I didn't sit under this one. I didn't sit under that one. I don't come from that. God said, I intentionally didn't let you sit under anybody else. Intentionally. 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 I didn't let you go certain places. Intentionally. Because I didn't want what I put inside of you to be tainted by anybody else. I didn't want anybody else to take credit for what I did in your life and what I do in your life. No. No, you have been raised by me in the prophetic. You have been raised. Absolutely, I've sat under people who were prophets, you know, but God has shaped and molded how I do what I do and how I teach it. He said, listen, I've called you to the people that don't want to be prophets, but are. Angel number 133. The people that I've got to call on their life for the prophetic and a prophetic mantle on them that don't want to accept it. They like, listen, I just want to mind my business. But inside, God keeps telling them to say stuff to people and they don't want to say it. And they're fighting against it and they don't want to do it. And they're like, I don't know why I'm having these dreams. And I don't know why I'm having these thoughts when I'm around people. And I don't know why. And I'm not saying that to them because who am I to say that? And what if they don't listen to me? And what if they don't believe me? And I don't want to risk the rejection. Because as a prophet, you will be rejected. But you got to know that you know that you know that you heard what you heard from God. I remember God gave me a word for a pastor, and I made an appointment, and I went in this office. And I said what God told me to say, and he even gave me some details, some initials, and, you know, I don't know nothing. I don't know. And he looked at me like I was crazy. Okay. I did what I was supposed to do. And I felt aware. I was like, well, God, why did you have me do that? And then later on down the road, listen to what I'm going to tell you. I found out something. And how about one of the people's initials was the initials that I gave him? See, you ain't got to know everything. In fact, you don't have to know anything. You just have to say what God said say. Now, maybe he thought I knew something. I didn't know anything. I'm not in the church world like that. See, this is exactly why I don't do all of that church. I don't do it because, listen, when God give me something to say, I'm going to say what God say. And it's not going to be because I know this or I know that. Listen, I'm going to say what God has to say because angel number 133. Let me go on and look that up and let me insert that into the equation. So pause right there. In the words of these pastors, let's pause parenthetically. Angel number 133. Encourages you to remain optimistic. Trust in the divine plan and tap into your inner strength and creativity. This number is a reminder that you are on the right path towards achieving your goals and fulfilling your soul mission. Thank you, God. I received that. I received that, God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for just reminding me. Thank you for reminding us that we are on the right path. Thank you, God. Thank you. I was in the shower, and sometimes what God will speak to me in the shower. Like that's where we do our best communication in the bathroom. I'm just trying to tell y'all where our magic happens. It's in the bathroom. Okay, whether I'm sitting or whether I'm showering, our best in the bathroom. Me and God talking. Okay. Call me a multitasker, call me what you want to, but me and God do our best work in the bathroom, okay? That's when everything it's me and him, like no interruptions, me and him. And I was thinking about the School of the Prophets, doing a prophetic boot camp. And he began to talk to me about pricing, right? You know, anytime God deals with me in numbers, it's always very significant. Numbers are significant, but everything in the entire universe reduces to a number. Every single thing reduces to a number and a sound. Everything that God has created reduces to a number and a sound. And when we understand that, we'll change our attitude towards math and numbers. We'll stop saying, I hate it. I believe, listen to me, God just dropped this in my spirit. I believe that there was a whole plot and a plan to make Black people hate math. Because listen, we were the ones who fashioned mathematics. We got the divine downloads and began to lay out the downloads. Now, yes, it was attributed to Greek thieves. And I said what I said, Greek thieves, because they went into Africa and stole all this information, and then they were attributed with the creation of it. Pythagorean theorem he got from Africa. Listen, all of this stuff that we study in the universities and in school was stolen from Africa, from Black people. Okay, I don't want y'all to be confused and think that the people in Africa are not Black. Okay, the Black people, and then it has been turned around so that we feel inadequate and inept in an area and in areas where we were the ones that God spoke to about it. Now, it doesn't mean that other people are not enough, but it definitely means that you can miss me trying to say that I'm not. So we believe a lie, and then we begin to hate the very thing that's the key to our breakthrough. Numbers are key to your breakthrough. Understanding that God's math is the key to you manifesting everything you desire in your life. Everything, including the word of God, is rooted in numbers and sounds. God is a God of numbers. He's a God of mathematics, and his mathematics are not our mathematics. God is a God of multiplication and division. He multiplied Abraham and Lot, and then he divided. And then they went off and they multiplied. So every time you say, I hate math, I'm not good at math, you say, I can't be in tune with God. Think about it. Even thinking about God, the Godhead, the 3 in 1, all of that is math. And we grapple, we struggle to try to understand it. It doesn't make sense to us because God's math don't math like our math. So when they came out with the new math is designed to confuse you. Now, it's not enough to just get the right answer. You got to get the right answer the way they get the answer. The way they say you need to get the answer. No, you need to know how to get the answer. Someone said, me too, in the bathroom with talking and hearing God, but somebody told me that it was nasty and not a clean place. Girl, listen, God sanctifies wherever we are. He sanctifies it. Who gets to decide where you and God talk? Huh? Who has the right to do that? Huh? This is why we can't allow other people and their experiences to dictate your experience. My experience is my experience. That's why I tell people, now you might not do it like I do it. It might not experience it the same way, and that's okay. Listen, I don't know why we think everybody got to be just alike. If God wanted us all to be just alike, he wouldn't have created us as unique beings with a unique DNA code. Even twins have a unique DNA code. There's something always a little different about them, even though they may look just alike. There's something there that differentiates them. So you need to know that God's yes is enough. And just because I'm a leader doesn't mean I'm exempt to sometimes not feeling enough. It's interesting. I've been noticing something about me and how I respond to people who say, "Oh, where's your church?" And this is my response. I got to change my response. I say, "Oh, well, I just have an online ministry." What does that even mean? I just have an online ministry. My online ministry probably reaches more people than the people who are inside a building. But I just have an online ministry? No, I have an online ministry. My church is online. Listen, I've got to change the way, because somehow I feel like because it's online, it doesn't count the same way it would if I were in a building. Yes, Lisa. Hey, Daddy. My daddy said, "Baby, on point," and I know it to be true. My hubby said they don't talk to God, so they try to distract from your conversation with God. Angel number 155. Listen. So when people hear me calling out numbers, they say, "Oh, what is that?" You better learn God's math. Maybe if you learned God's math, you would pay more attention to the signs around you. Maybe if you learned God's math, you would recognize where you're supposed to be and where you're not supposed to be. Maybe God would be able to confirm for you, okay, this is a yes, this is a no. Maybe you'd be able to eliminate some things. Maybe you'd be able to look at those numbers and know, oh no, I don't want to live in that vibration. That's not. When I look at the numbers of my life path number is like a 7, right? When I look at the numbers of my life and my addresses, let me talk to you for a minute. When I was born, I lived at 421 West 2nd Street. 4 and 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Currently, I live at 2212. 2 and 2 is 4, and 2 is 6, and 1 is 7. Listen to me. Angel number 155, it just popped up again. Listen, the numbers of your life will align. And you'll know. See, because sometimes we'll get caught up in the wrong things, and God's like, not that. But we don't hear it because we want it. We want that, but we're not paying attention. But God pays attention to the minute things, right? The little things that seem little to us anyway, but really it's a big thing. Now, some people would say, "Oh, I don't want to govern my life by numbers." Listen, God is a God of numbers. And on the 7th day, he rested. Days 1 through 6, he created, but on the 7th day, he rested. The children of Israel wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Jesus fasted for 40 days. You want to tell me God is not enough? The 12 tribes of Israel, why not 11? Why not 13? 12 tribes. When you understand that God is a God of numbers and God is a God of math, because the entire universe was created from a divine plan, and the ultimate divinity created, and everything in the universe, our bodies, the stars, the moon, the sun, nature, seasons, cycles, everything is connected. That when you get in alignment with the universe that God created systematically with the plan, you'll be able to hear God more clearly. Now, people will tell you that that's New Age. They'll tell you that that's witchcraft. They'll tell you that that's of the enemy. But God created everything on a plane. I'm talking about dimensions. Listen, when I close my eyes, I'm not the person that I can just close my eyes and, really visualize everything, right? Like, that's not how I see. I just know. I have a knowing, right? So when I prophesy, I just prophesy from a place of knowing. I don't necessarily, when I say I see, right, I see in my mind, not I see in my mind's eye. I don't see the visualization. I just know. It's like, I know. I just know. But there are times when I close my eyes and I just see light, different types of light. And I have to pay attention to that because even light is a number and a frequency. Y'all don't want to hear me though. Y'all don't want to hear me. That's too much because y'all ain't good at math. Y'all don't like math. I love math. I love math. I love God's math. I love everything about God's universe that he created. I love everything about me. I love everything about you. Now listen, this is the key, right? This is the key. This is the key. This is the key to everything. When you get to the point where you love everything about you, it is so much easier to love everything about other people. Listen, I don't care that you're imperfect. Like, I know you're going to be perfect. I know you're going to have character flaws. I know all that. I get that. I get it. God is getting us to a place where we can just love people with reckless abandon, even though they are jacked up, because guess what? We're jacked up too. Until we come into the fullness of knowing who we are in God and we go through God's process, this is why you've got to give people grace to grow. Our failure to give people grace to grow means that we prematurely cut off people who are supposed to be a part of our destiny because they don't look like we want them to look or like we think they should look. Oh, there are many people who have cut me off because I didn't look like, my life didn't look like, I didn't sound like, I didn't act like, but baby, they had to come right back around because I was a key to their destiny. And they mishandled the key. What do? When you mishandle the key that God sent you? What do? You make it right. I challenge you all today to make stuff right with people. Make it right. Just make it right. It doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. It doesn't matter what did or didn't happen. Just make it right. Agree to disagree and move forward. Doesn't mean that you got to be best friends. Doesn't mean that you got to hang out. Doesn't mean that you got to be together. Make it right and move forward. Right? Whatever move forward looks like for you in that situation, make it right, make peace, and move forward. Make peace. Now, peace may mean they over here, but move forward. Do what you've got to do to get clarity. Make peace and move forward. Because uncertainty creates unrest. Uncertainty creates unrest. And when you're in a place of unrest, you can't move forward full speed ahead on anything when you've got unrest in something. My husband said that crazy dude married you twice, so it would be your 7th marriage. He absolutely did, and he was not crazy. 7 is my number. And God knew that. And God knew that he would do that. God gave him that desire to do that. That was God. Only God can do it. Only God can do it. Do it. Angel number 155 is still up there. Let me go ahead and look that up, because clearly that ain't going nowhere. So God is trying to tell me something. Angel number 155. You are a master of manifestation, and your visions are becoming reality. The 155 angel number means that if you take initiative, you will see positive changes. This means that you can manifest anything you want if you take action. Manifestation requires action. Walking in the fullness of God requires action. Serving God requires action. We cannot be these passive onlookers, bystanders, watching the world and other people manifest their destiny while we simply observe. Now, let me tell y'all something. I don't take anything away from anybody who God is using. I do not. But I am not so caught up in what other people are doing to manifest their destiny that I'm going to be more concerned with their destiny than I am with mine. One of the reasons that I named the church Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries is because so many people are not passionate about manifesting their purpose. Listen, we'll build a church, but we won't build us. We won't build our destiny. We won't build our purpose. But if you get a church full of people who are walking in their manifested purpose, baby, you got a vehicle, a vessel that is unstoppable. All we've got to do is come together and manifest our purpose in the world. One of the reasons that I love Envision You is it is a place where I can manifest my vision, the vision that God gave me, right? Everything that God has given me has been about billions, billionaire bosses that I would make millionaires. If you make enough millionaires, you by default become a billionaire. Do you know how Jeff Bezos became a billionaire, a multi-billionaire? Because he made a whole lot of people millionaires. Now, we can get mad because he's a billionaire, or we can learn the lesson. If you create a vision large enough to allow others to manifest their vision within the vision, listen, then you create something that is unstoppable and unmovable, always abounding in grace. You've got to understand that God is trying to do something that is larger than just you. It's going to take more than just you. You're not going to be able to do it alone. You weren't designed to do it alone. God didn't create you to do it alone. So you've got to take action, but you've got to allow the vision to be large enough so that it can be what God ordained it to be. God is looking for some visionaries, some people who can see what's not visible to the naked eye, things that the natural eye can't see. I got a call from a friend of mine, and she was talking about how she's seeing stuff. And I remember being in a place like this, and it's really disconcerting because it throws you off. Because when you try to talk about it with people that you think are going to understand, most of them don't understand it, and they think you're crazy. She talked about seeing things in pictures, seeing faces, seeing things in the clouds. And she said, and I heard God say, fifth dimension. And when I said this to somebody, they said, oh, don't be opening no portals. Don't be opening no portals. The fifth dimension is simply life in spirit, limitless life, No distinction, no separation between the natural and the spirit. No limits. There's no bodily limitations. When Jesus was in those crowds and he was there, and then they looked around and nobody saw him, he was operating in another dimension, a dimension that they couldn't see, a dimension that they didn't understand. So to them, it looked like he just disappeared. Look, there's so much in the Word of God that we don't understand and we don't delve deeply into. Yes, Summerlin, that was 155. That was 155. But God is science. I keep trying to tell y'all, God is science. God is math. God is sound. God is. Listen, we miss it because we try to make God just something separate and apart and just mystical. But God literally lays things out like, brrr, and it all works together and it just makes sense and it connects the dots. I'm a dot connector. I always like connect the dot pictures because looking at it, it just looks like a bunch of dots, right? That's how life looks to us. It looks like a bunch of dots. Looks like a bunch of dots. But God connects the dots. And there's this huge picture when we connect the dots and we look and we say, oh, that's what God was doing. And it creates this beautiful picture that we couldn't see because all we saw was dots because the dots were not connected. And if you connect the dots wrong, the picture is going to be distorted. It's going to, so God has to sometimes redirect our dot connecting. God is trying to connect the dots for us. Just connecting the dots. That's it. He's connecting the dots. The pattern is laid. But the entire universe, us included, the whole pattern is mapped out throughout time, across time, with no separation between time and space. It is all laid out in a great plan that God can look at and see. And we're in it, so we only see our little portion. We can't see the whole thing. But every now and then, God will elevate you in the spirit, and you'll be able to see from a higher level with an eagle eye what's going on right now down here in the natural from a spiritual place. You'll be able to look at it. You'll be able to see, okay, that's what God is doing. It's why every now and then I find myself talking to people and God will show me what's going to happen in the future as though it's right now. And it gets frustrating because you see it for right now, but it's not for right now. It's for yet an appointed time. And you think because it didn't happen right then, oh, I'm not a prophet. No, I'm telling you. And then years later, it happens. You say, oh my God, Dr. V, when you said da-da-da-da-da, I didn't believe you and it hadn't happened, so I didn't think it was going to happen. But look, this is what happened. Everything you said came to pass. I don't control the time frame that I see. God does. He controls what I see, what I know. I'm saying see, but what I know, right? And what I can share. Because sometimes I can't share it all because people aren't ready for it all. They can only handle a part of it. And a part of being an effective prophet is knowing how to hear the voice of God, not just on what about a person's life, but when and if to release it. Some things you can't release. Some things you just got to hold. But you know. And you know that you know. And people might say, well, how do you know that? I just do. I remember I was talking to a woman and I was telling her about some things her mother had gone through. And somebody said, well, why would you say that? Because it's the truth. And it's key. See, truth is key to freedom. Truth is key to breakthrough. Truth is key. And sometimes because we won't deal with truth, we find ourselves living lies. You can never be enough in a lie. You can never be enough in a lie. A lie will always have you feeling like you're not enough. A lie. If you're feeling like you're not enough, search for the lie, because there's a lie somewhere. There's a lie. And I'm going to tell y'all this. Listen, let me say this. I'm going to say this. Many of the generational curses that we are experiencing are rooted in lies. Lies that were told to protect somebody. Lies that were told to cover up something. Lies that were told to keep family business. But lies nonetheless. You will never feel like you're enough in a lie. But when you find the truth, you'll know. Oh, this is why I felt like that. Because you were in a lie. You were living out a lie, and it wasn't even your lie. It was somebody else's lie. And sometimes it's a lie from generations past, but there's still a lie that is affecting your life. So this is why genealogical research is important. This is why knowing who you are is important. This is why you need to know who your mama and your daddy is. I know y'all say your mama. You know what? Everybody know who their mama is. No, they don't. Because let me tell you something. There have been many a young girl who got pregnant, went out somewhere to visit family, had a baby, and the baby ended up being somebody else's because they were raising. The mama raised the baby as their own. An auntie raised the baby as their own. So later on, you find out that your sister is really your mama. That your mama is really your auntie. That your mama is really your great auntie. That your mama is really your grandmama. We've got so many lies that have been pervasive, especially in the African American community, right? That we are confused and feeling like we're not enough in a society that says we're not enough because we're Black. And then we feel like we're not enough because we don't look like the other people in our family, or something just feels off. I'm telling y'all, if you feel like something is off in your family, something is off in your family. Find it. Because when you find that, you'll find the answer. It'll make things make sense. When I began to know my genealogy and my ancestors, I understood me and my life. It made everything that happened in my life make sense to me. Literally. Made everything that happened in my life made me make sense to me. I understood me. And if you can't understand you are definitely not going to be able to understand the world. Make a commitment right now. Right now, Ancestry.com has a special going on for $59. Invest in that. Invest in that and find your people. Find your people. You may say, well, I know who my mom and my daddy is. Yes, but there may be somebody out there who's looking for their mom or their daddy that you're connected to, that you are the key that is missing to the puzzle. If my niece had not done Ancestry DNA, I would not have known who my daddy was. It took my niece doing Ancestry DNA, who I still have not met, mind you. It took my niece doing that test for me to discover and have the keys to who I was and who my daddy was. Had I not found that list, I need y'all to understand this. Had I not found that, I still would be in a place where I'm like, Kareem said the conspiracy theorist in me won't let them have my DNA. Well, you got to go with your convictions, baby. You can do African ancestry. But listen, this is what I'm telling you. There is a key. There is a key to unlocking your entire family confusion. There's a key. And the reason that I say ancestry.com is because it's the one that most people have done. So you've got more connections that can be made. And the beauty in it is this. Because, you know, Kareem, truth be told, I was like that too. But let me tell you what God began to share with me. He said, listen, nobody can do anything I don't allow. I can block anything I want to block. Anything that happens, I allow, and I allow it to happen for a reason. This is what I know, y'all. God's yes is enough. But we struggle with that when we don't know our identity. You got to know who you are. It is a necessary thing to know who you are. There is a void in you and in your life until you know who you are. Now, you can know who you are in God. You can know who you are in God. I'm not saying that you can know who you are in God, but I promise you this. Listen to me. There's still going to be a gap in the natural. It's important to close the gap. It's important to close the gap. You may say, Dr. V, well, you know, isn't it enough that? No, it's not. You need to know where your DNA comes from. That way you can identify patterns that you need to break. Some of you are trying to break generational curses that are not the curses associated with your life because they belong to somebody else's lineage, because that ain't your people. Them is not your people. They your people, but they not your people. They your people, but they not your people. They your people, but they not your people. Y'all heard what I said? Now y'all know, you know people that you look at them and you know them ain't they people. Everybody know them ain't they people. But everybody act like they don't see nothing. Find your people. Find your people and find you. When I found my daddy, I found me. When I found my daddy, I found me. Being able to love my daddy allowed me to love me, because we're so much alike. So much alike. Like twins. I wasn't raised with him. I didn't. Kareem said, yes, I remember last year you told me to talk to my mom and I found out a lot. It made so much make sense for me. Here's one example. My mom converted to Christianity in 93. I was born in 94. Wow. 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 I am the curse breaker. God wouldn't allow me to be born without her being a Christian. Wow. So as the curse breaker, it helps you understand like where you are right now, because you're the curse breaker. Many of you are the curse breaker for your family. And until you accept that you're the curse breaker, right? You're going to struggle because you're going to be saying it's unfair. Why do I? Because you're the one. You're the chosen one. You're the chosen one. You're the Jesus for your family. Yes, Kim. When you are the Jesus for your family, now some of y'all will say that's blasphemy, but listen to what Jesus did, okay? He came take on the sins of humanity. He didn't do it, but he had to be the one to go through all this stuff that wasn't even his and to die sacrificially, put his own life on the line. Does that sound like you? Does that sound like you? Jesus came to be our older brother, to be the example of what's required. He's the Savior with the capital S. But some of us have been called to be the Savior in our family, to be the one that's like Jesus in our family. And Jesus said, and greater works than these shall you do. Because we have a greater knowledge, a greater, listen, like, I wish, because Jesus did what he did, we now have the Holy Spirit, which is everywhere. Now the power of God is everywhere. The power that Jesus possessed in the flesh is everywhere. And we don't have to be in a certain place to get it. But there are times when in a certain place, there's a conglomeration of the Spirit of God that produces something amazing that spreads throughout. But I am the revival. You are the revival. Crean said, yes, it does. My mom's family for generations wasn't Christian before I was born. The struggles and the favor and the protection all make sense now. Summerlin said, but I am breaking curses known and unknown. Oh, no, she said, but damn, breaking curses known and unknown is mind-boggling at times. It is. It is. But guess what? When you're chosen, you're equipped. This is why this scripture is so powerful. See, y'all be thinking these words just be words. Y'all be, listen. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Chosen. 1 Peter 2:9. But you are not like that, for you are a chosen people. You are royal priests, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for he called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light. Hold on, I'm not through. I need y'all to stay with me. Stay with me. 2 Peter 1:3. His divine power has given us everything we need for a godly life through our knowledge of him who called us by his own glory and goodness. Hold on. I'm not done. Philippians 2:13. For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose. Hold on. I'm not done. Romans 9:11-12. Yet before the twins were born or had done anything good or bad, in order that God's purpose in election might stand, not by works, but by him who calls, she was told the older would serve the younger. Now, this is talking about Jacob and Esau. Listen to me. God has an ultimate plan for every single one of us. Every one of us, I'm telling you, and that plan includes him calling us and equipping us for what it is that he has for us to do. Now, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. Romans 8:30. And those whom he predestined, he also called. And those whom he called, he also justified. And those whom he justified, he also glorified. You are enough. You are enough. And those whom he predestined before the foundations of the earth, before you were formed in your mother's womb, before your mama met your daddy, before his sperm met her egg, God already predestined that you would be who you are, who he has called you to be. You are enough. If you were not enough, do you think God would have predestined you to do something that he wouldn't equip you to do? You think that he would choose you to do? You think that he would declare that it was your destiny to do if he knew that you weren't able to do? That is not the work of God. God only predestined you because he knew you are the one who was supposed. Listen, I need you to get this in your spirit. He knew that Jacob, the trickster that he was, would be the lineage through which the Messiah would be born. The trickster, Rahab the harlot, that she would be a part of the lineage. He knew David the adulterer and the murderer. He knew. So when you get ready to allow somebody to disqualify you because of your past and the things that you've done, I need you to remember this. God used the most unlikely people to do some of the greatest things in history. The unlikely ones, the misfits, the ones that were tossed aside, the ones that they said were crazy. Noah, getting drunk. But God knew he could trust him to do what he told him to do. Angel number 155. So even in his drunkenness, God still yet covered him. You are enough. And I need you to know that. So with that said, I said, okay, God, I'm enough. I'm enough. Okay, God, I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a prophetic boot camp. I'm going to do a prophetic boot camp. It is going to be, it's going to be a 12-week program. And it's going to be 2 parts to it. One part is a group part, and the other part has some VIP sessions associated with it. The group part for the 12 weeks, you can do $369 for that. $369 for the 12-week, you're just doing the group. The VIP, which includes VIP group and VIP individual sessions, which has all of it has limited spots because I'm not trying to deal with a lot of energies. I'm just not. It's $963. 369-963. Okay. So one is the 369. That's the all group. I'm going to have 15 spots for that. The other one is the VIP, which is going to include the VIP group and the VIP individual. And I have 5 spots for that. That's 963, right? If you're interested in that, what I need you to do is put prophetic boot camp in the comments. I'll get you the information. It's going to be a first come, first serve situation. I'm going to actually launch the classes. Hold on. I got to let me look at the calendar and hear God. God is so funny. God is funny. God is so funny. I'm actually going to launch the classes on October 30th. October 30th. They're going to be Monday night meetings. I can see you now. Oh, y'all dropped y'all's things. Okay, April, I got you. Right, Kareem. I can see your comments now. I can see yours too, Michelle, but I don't see where you said prophetic boot camp. April, that's your birthday, Kareem. Girl, you know what that means. That's a sign. So I see you, April. So I'll get you the information. Whether you do the group or whether you VIP, listen, that's totally up to you. This is what I'm going to tell you. The group session is a way to get started, right? If you want the more intensive, then you're going to want to do the VIP, right? And there is a significant price difference because the amount of my energy that it's going to take with you all in that VIP group is different, right? So I just know those are the numbers. He said 369-963. And if you know anything about Fibonacci sequence, you know that those are also the numbers of the Fibonacci sequence, which deals with our ability to, like, everything in the universe is on a 369, right? Like, that's the world is on a 369. So April said, put me in a VIP, right? All right, I'm gonna get y'all the information. Afterpay will be available. If you need to do Afterpay to get started, like with the initial payment, you can do that. Y'all know how I do. Those who really want it, normally I can find a way to work with you. But let me say this, y'all. I want to say this because I really want y'all to understand. I want you to understand my heart, right? I want you to understand my heart. My heart is for people who have a thirst for understanding their gift, and which sometimes feels like a curse. It feels like a nightmare. That's what it feels like. Like, let's be honest about that thing. It feels like a lot. My husband was talking about going to, we walked to the fair last night, and my husband was talking about, oh yeah, we need to go to the peanut festival. It's way bigger than this. And immediately my stomach sank. And my stomach sank because being in that crowd with all those people, it is a lot on me spiritually. So either I have to kind of shut myself down to be able to deal with it because I'm picking up all this stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So it can seem overwhelming to me. So I try to, because there's a pull on me. There's a pull on me. Wherever I go, there's a pull on me. So I don't know what God gonna have me do either. That's the other part. I'll be like, I'm off today. I'm on vacation. My do not disturb sign is up. God don't care nothing about. Hold on. I'm gonna start just carrying this with me in my purse. Hold on. God don't care nothing about my do not disturb. He don't care nothing about that. I even got it on the other side. He don't care nothing about that. That don't mean nothing to him. Okay. So this is for people who really are struggling with this thing. Or maybe you're not struggling. Maybe you know who you are. Maybe you already know and you're, wanting to get more training and clarity on how to move in it. And this is what I will tell you all. I will never try to make anyone be me prophetically. I will never try to make anyone be me prophetically, but a lot of people like me are drawn to me. April said, someone texted me late last night to interpret their dream. I've tried to lay that down for years, but nope, absolutely not, right? We all have roles to play, gifts to activate. All right, Lisa, I see you, girl. And we can try to run from it, and we can try to hide from it, but it doesn't go away. When I look back over my life, I realized that all my life I've operated in this. All my life. Yes, Sharon. Yes. Come on, Lisa. Tell her. Listen, all my life, I've operated in this. When I didn't even realize I was operating in it, I operated in it. When I would say things to people and tell them something, listen, it, look, Corey says she's a runner, she's a track star. I know that's right, Corey. Be trying to run. Listen, we can't run and we can't hide. The world is in desperate need of us. The world is crying out for the entire earth is groaning for the sons and daughters of God to arise. It's time for you to arise. It's time for you to get up out of your situation, out of your circumstances, because some of you are in circumstances because you've been running. When you step up, then God will bring you out. When you step up, then God will bring you out. He'll bring you out. Get ready. So those of you who are interested, drop it in there. I'm going to be releasing it today. You all will be able to go on and get in. The spots are limited, and that is just it. They just are. I'm telling y'all in advance because I need y'all to know that when the cutoff comes, unless God say so. Y'all know how God be doing me. But it's on a first come, first serve basis. Payment plans are available through Afterpay. If you need something else, communicate with me and we'll figure it out. But you're going to want to secure your spot. Look, I pray that this word has blessed you. If the word has blessed you and you want to sow a seed, you can at Cash App $DRV Johnson 777. Cash App $DRV Johnson 777. I pray that God has given you what you needed to remember who you are. Tandria said, I'm so proud of you. Oh, thank you, boo. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something, and I want y'all to get ready. The end of the year, I'm going to be doing something. I'm telling y'all in advance, the end of the year, I'm going to be doing that vision retreat again. Like, we're going to do the vision retreat again. And I'm super excited about that. I'll be releasing information about that later on. My husband busting up in here. Don't be busting up in here on me like that. Big Daddy. What, baby? He got something to say. Come on and say it.
You need a chef for your vision retreat?
You know I do. I know. I already know. I already booked you. Booked and busy.
Oh, I ain't too busy for you.
Ooh. He could have stopped talking to me like that. Chef Timothy. Y'all, it's time. It's time. It's time for us to walk out the vision that God has given us. It's time for us to be who God has called us to be. And it's time to do it full steam ahead. All right, you guys, listen, know that I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah!